Welcome, this is session one. We're going to cover Dorian tonight in this session. It'll be about a half-hour session. And then in follow-up sessions, two separate ones to come, that'll be probably a few days after the meeting, will be a hands-on teach the tune mountain dulcimer and a separate teach the tune hammer dulcimer. Okay, we're going into the basics of Dorian and in particular A-Dorian. Okay. So, theory doesn't make you a better player, it just makes you a smarter one, okay? Knowing this is very helpful. I remember going to a Irish session with Jennifer Mylod, you know. Luckily I wasn't mic'd, but I was playing along and she would reach over to me, you know, and say, A-Dorian. Well, I didn't even know what this tune was, so, and if I did know, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up with her, okay? It was very helpful for me to know this, okay, because it unlocked the chord structures, we'll see later. So, when I was teaching music theory, I remember Dorian, after a while, as is a minor scale with a sixth tone raised a half. And of course that always involved finger math, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, sharp, okay. And there was always this finger math. I'm going to show you a method that's easy to use, more pertinent to your instruments, and will unlock the chord structure for you. So, like I said, it is a minor scale with a sixth tone of the scale that's half a tone higher than what the Aeolian scale would be at the sixth tone. But there's a different way of thinking about this, okay? So a woman on this course came, she studied up, and she says, well, that's built on the second tone of the major scale. And when I researched it, wow, this is a great way to think about this. So I'm gonna put a major scale here. Okay, so this is a G major scale, and you'll notice there's a little bit of space between G and A. Space between A. This, of course, if it was a piano, it would be G sharp here. This would be A sharp or B flat, and B. Now you see the B and the C are together. That's A. There's no black key between them. Okay. And then, of course, a whole space to D, because it's C sharp. And of course, we have a D sharp, so there's a little space here. And then we have F natural here, that would have been in the, you know, F sharp. And then you see right up against here, there's only a half tone. So, you know, white key, black, white, black, white, white, black, white, okay. Think of this on your dulcimer, and this is how I can go whole, half, half, and so forth, is the third G on a mountain dulcimer is at the third fret. Okay, it's a third fret scale. So if this is 3, you have a whole step to 4, a whole step to fret 5, a half step to fret 6, a whole step to fret 7, a whole step to fret 8, a whole step to fret 9, okay, and then a half step to fret 10. So you can think of this in terms of the piano with white keys and whether the black keys are in between or whether not, or simply a diatonic dulcimer, not counting 6 1/2. 6 1/2 really doesn't figure in understanding the modes. It's actually will tamper with the modes so you can play more than one mode on your instrument. So if this is the G major scale, and the Dorian is built on the second tone, what will happen it'll play the very same notes as a G major scale. So the only difference here is, of course, your tonal center is A and not G. Now, remember I talked about the whole spaces and half spaces. They still occur here, but they occur at different different tones or different points or different frets. So you still have the same spacing, but it happens in a different tone number, okay? So now on the mountain dulcimer, the Dorian scale commonly starts on the 4th fret, okay? So you're going to have A, B, C. See how there's a half step here to the 3rd tone here? There was 1, 2, 3. There was a whole step to the 3rd tone. Now you're going to have a half step to the 3rd tone. That makes minor, minor. Minor, no matter what kind of minor it is. Don't get a popping excedrin over this, but harmonic minor, melodic minor, Aeolian, Dorian, all these minors, this is what makes minor, minor. 3rd half step to the 3rd, okay? So this is a minor scale, one of the many minor scales. And so you have, this would be fret 4, fret 5, fret 6, there's a half tone, there's a half step, half space between 5 and 6 on the mountain dulcimer, whole step to 7, whole step to 8, whole step to 9, half step to 10, whole step to 11. Okay? Now, what this will mean is you're going to play the same damn notes as you played in G major. And especially helpful on a hammer dulcimer because you know it's the same E's, the same D's. You're going to play an E on this side or on that side. D is the same way. Your unison D's and E's are still going to work much like they did in G major. You're going to play the same notes that you did in G major. Okay. Mountain dulcimer is a little bit different. You have a different look at it. So when Jennifer says to me, this is an A-Dorian, that was a big tip-off. Because if I was going to harmonize A-Dorian, then the chords would have been A minor would have been A, C, and E are the chords of an A minor. And then because it's built off the major scale and has all the same tones as a major scale, then the G chord would be, G, B, and D. So you've already harmonized 6 notes plus the high octave, Do. They can be harmonized just with 2 chords. So what tips me off with A-Dorian, very typically, and other keys of Dorian, is I have an 80 to 100% chance of knowing that the chords are going to be A minor and G. And then once you understand Dorian, the same thing will happen in E-Dorian. Okay? It'll be, the chords will be E minor and D. So Drunken Sailor will be E minor, da 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 da, D da 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 da, E minor, da 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 da, D, and E minor, D, and E minor, same thing, just 2 chords. All right. So this unlocks the chord structure, okay, which allowed me to just hit, when I watch a guitar player or hear, I could just get these as my primary tones and then just hit these in-between notes on the way as passing tones, but centering myself on these. Then when the guitar player changed his fingering and I hear, then I would do the same thing with D and just fill in between, just playing notes. Did not know the melody good enough, so that's the valuable part of here. Now, so with a mountain dulcimer, what we're going to do is your A minor, your Dorian, okay, your A minor chord, when it goes under that A minor chord, these are going to be even frets. 4th fret, 6th fret, fret number 8. And like in all music, doesn't matter if it's numbers on a mountain dulcimer or classical people with a high octave, it changes it to high octave. So if these were all spaces, pay attention, hammer dulcimers, these are all space notes on the staff, and then at the high octave it switches to a line. Okay, same thing here. This would be a line, line, line. Okay, so how this works on the mountain dulcimer is now you're going to have, I play this evens and odds game, okay? 4, 6, 8. That's going to be, when it's under that A minor chord, the notes on the beat, primary notes, most of the notes are going to be 4, 6, and 8, evens. When it switches to a G chord, and these Dorian tunes are pretty predictable, okay? 2 measures of A minor, 2 measures of D, pretty predictable. Then this is going to be, remember, 3rd fret scale, 3, 5, 7. So we can play even and odds game on mountain dulcimer. And of course, hammer dulcimer again, your A minor would be space, 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 line, line, line. Okay. Now, on hammer dulcimer, a Dorian scale is going to be horizontal because no matter if you're in E-Dorian or A-Dorian, you're going to have this raised 6th tone is on the left side of the bridge. Okay, so your scale basically is going to be somewhat horizontal, where the Aeolian scale is going to be straight up and down. All right. So we're going to get on the mountain dulcimer, and we'll do a little. Okay, we're going to, on mountain dulcimers, we're going to play what's called the skeleton of the tune, or the core of the melody. And this is important to know, and I'll tell you some of the reasons. And actually, Steve Seifert, when I was in class with him for a week-long workshop, he had actually taught this, okay? And then, actually, this is how some of these guys like that learn tunes that they don't know, especially on the fly, okay? Whether it's him on mountain dulcimer or Brian Thomas on the bass, they scan the music and they reduce this thing basically to quarter notes and ad-lib between them, and you know. So this will come in handy. This particular tune, there's a lot of different variations, okay? So the great Virginia fiddler Henry Reed's version of this tune is a lot different than the West Virginia great fiddler Melvin Wine. So the versions can vary, okay? If you're on dulcimer, and this was like, it was a great dulcimer tune way back when I was a intermediate and I couldn't handle the thumb, but and it had chords, and it was this multimodal that's so in vogue today. But the trouble with that is you get, especially the muscle memory involved with this kind of playing, you can't break out of that. You can't listen to where the tune's going. And all you can do is react with this muscle memory that took you so long to learn, now you can't unlearn. Okay, so if you get into, when you leave the warm fuzzy dulcimer circles and go to an old time jam, for instance, you don't know what version they're gonna play. So the more notes you play, the more chance you have of banging against a different version, okay? Most of the time, the versions will always have the same core of the melody. It's what's between those notes. You know, one place may go up and you're playing them going down, or there's always clash points, okay? And the other thing too, let's say the version is the same, but let's say the fiddle or the banjo is really driving it faster than you're used to. Well, it's going to be awful hard to speed up all of a sudden on this clumsy linear fingerboard than it is these other instruments, okay? So they may outrun your fingers. You can always resort back to the core of the melody, play along with warm human beings. And I never learned this tune seriously. Now, I've done it up, and you're going to get the music for it, but I never seriously learned this tune. But I knew the tune, and without any practice, I could play anywhere from like 80 to 85% of the notes without ever committing to serious practice to play this tune. All right, so I'll show you how the tune's constructed here. So we're going to have, I'm in DGD in case you haven't been told in the Zoom meeting, DGD with a capo at 1. This is a very efficient way to play A-Dorian, okay? Our G scale course was 3 to 10, and then when we build off the second tone, now our scale is from 4 to 11. All right, so in this first part of the tune, we're going to strum open. The fifth below is going to be, in your mind, 0, right? And then we're going to play mostly even numbers like this. 4, 4. Okay, I'll do that again. So notice here, and this, when you get the final arrangement, I'm going to be stroking all the A minor, strumming all the A minor primary tones. A lot of the ones that aren't in that chord are going to be passing tones, and then you're going to see an arrangement. It's going to be pretty important to get smooth and reduce, I'll cover that later, excessive pick, slap, and drone. I'm going to be sliding and hammering on. And the key is that's going to be primarily on, if I'm playing mostly the even notes of A minor, it'll be the hammers and the slides will be the odd frets, okay? So we have slide to the 5, strum, hammer the 7, strum the 8. Again, slide. Now odds. So we just, remember, we just shift down one to odd number. That would be the very core, the skeleton of the melody. So it would be odds. And then we're going to repeat the third phrase will be the same as the first. Alright, so let's do all three here again. Ready? Open and then 4s. Slide. Hammer. Put 4 on the end, I forgot. Now the G. Back to the first. Slide. Hammer 7. Now all we have is our closeout in the end. So, and then this is common whether it's Drunken Sailor or this tune. We have the A minor, quick, A minor, quick G, back to the A minor to finish it. A minor, G, back to A minor, and end on A minor. So here we go again with the very basics. Slide, hammer 7, G. We'll put more notes in the follow-up session, and then here's now we have the A minor to G to A minor. And here we go again. Slide 5, hammer 7, G. Now we're going to add a little bit. We're going to slide down from 5 to do a passing tone here. The 4 is a passing tone, so it'll be a slide. All right, this phrase again. Evens, slide, hammer 7. Now we have our A minor, G to A minor. Repeat that whole thing. Odds. Evens. Slide. Hammer 7. Every other. And again. G, A minor. B part of this tune will be up high. We're not going to cover much of it. I do want to cover the opening first measure because there's syncopation. Okay, for all that you players that started playing in the 21st century, which most of you go out, we've got a strumming pattern here. We have syncopation, so it'll be out, in, out. Out, in, out. That's rhythmically correct for syncopation, but also in doing things, because you guys that strum out never have strummed 2 consecutive strums in. So it's kind of this going against the grain, kind of the sneeze kind of thing, okay? Or hiccup, actually. So it's 8, 8, and 11. So 11 is your high do, okay? So it'll be out, in, out. Out, in, out. Okay, I did want to cover that. We'll cover it again when we do the whole tune for real, okay, in the follow-up segment. Okay, a couple more times so you can get the feel of that thing, so you don't have to think about it so much. Out, in, out. And of course, for those that played way back last century, like Jerry, you're going to reverse that and you're going to go in, out, in. Okay? In, out, in. That'll give you the proper, okay, you just reverse that. It'll be in, out, in. That'll give you the proper thing there. Okay, so we'll do the whole thing and include the first measure there, and then we'll sort of wrap things up. And again, the in-depth tune will be covered in another segment. All right, get ready with the evens here. Slide 5, hammer 7. Odds, evens, slide 5, hammer 7, and repeat. Evens, slide 5, hammer 7, odds. Evens, slide 5, hammer 7, part of syncopation. Okay, so that'll be pretty much it for this session here, and then in other segments we'll cover Mountain Dulcimer will do the tune for quote real, and Hammer Dulcimer will do a session for Hammer Dulcimer. Okay, so remember these odds and evens, okay, that concept. Remember about these tunes, like 3/4 of this tune, well, a little bit more than 3/4 of this tune is just A minor and G, chord-wise. Okay, so, okay, well, that'll give us a head start for sessions 2 and 3 to come.